to Genesis Models. My name's Bob Waldron and this is episode 2 of the HMS Victory build, and this is going to be of issues 5 through to 8, I do believe. Now issues 5, 7 and 8 were actually quite simple this month. Basically you ended up getting all the ribs from here going all the way across. It was just a whole bunch of ribs, just as you can see here, and also you're probably kind of seeing that it's really starting to come together and starting to look like a nice sort of framework for the hull of our HMS Victory. Now, as I've already shown you in episode 1 how to glue the ribs together, there's no point me showing you that again. I have a little bit of a sneak peek for episode 3. I have already received the next 4 issues, and just to give you even more of an idea of the size of this, we've got to glue another one of these on here, and that is basically going to be the length, right? We'll have to probably put the camera in a different angle as we go on, so that we can get this whole model in the camera angle, but that's just a sneak peek of what's coming next month. However, in issue 6 you do get a really nice nifty sort of mini build, and what we've got with issue 6 is let's just show you. You get the starting of building our lifeboat here, and I mean this is literally, as you can see, a little mini build in itself. So the first bits you get, now there are a few more bits, I do believe next month you'll get some more bits for this little lifeboat, but this is what you get to start off with. So let's bring you in. The first thing you want to do is cut out our little jig, right? You also get these cool, I don't know, they're probably like 4mm by 4mm sort of bits of wood here, and what we simply need to do is we get out a bit of glue, which I did go out, as I said I would, and buy some more glue. Now I just went to Wicks's, brought some wood adhesive. It's interior and exterior use. I've actually used it to build the workshop. However, although I'm going to use this for this episode, my brother-in-law is a carpenter, and he's told me a really good wood glue to use, so I'll probably get that for next episode. But this stuff is still better than what you get given with the issue 1, and we simply run it along just the same. And the reason why it's better is it really does dry a lot quicker. Right, so run a bit down there, and what we're going to want to do is just on the back. Right, we want to just put this underneath, just like so. Make sure it's nicely lined up, and all this is for is it's just to give the little jig that we've got here a bit of strength, bit of support, and stopping it from doing any warping. Let's get some cotton wool buds out, and let's just wipe up any of this mess. Although we don't have to be too precise with this, it's just a structure thing, right? Because we don't want it warping. Oh, I've knocked it out of place. There we go. And then simply we get a couple of pegs, right, and this should nicely clamp this down. Good old-fashioned pegs. There we go. You'll probably notice the glue will ooze out a bit when you put these pegs down, so you might want to get another cotton wool maybe. You don't have to, as I say, because I mean this is just a jig, right? It's not going on show or anything like that. So there's that, and then we just need that, leave that to dry, and then we can start actually using this jig to build up this nice little lifeboat. So while our little jig there is drying, let's have a look at what we got as a freebie with this month's dispatch. Now, if you kind of sign up for the subscription where they take a monthly amount out of your bank account each month, you'll get sent these free gifts. I do believe last month it was where's it gone? It was a magnifying glass, it's lying around here somewhere, but we get this. And actually thinking about it, I have received my third month's dispatch, so actually this could be coming in with the third one, but either way I'll show you anyway. And what we're getting here is a nice couple of tools. Now some of them are just a bit cheap, and I wouldn't bother with them. Some of them are a bit specialised and actually are going to be quite useful. For instance, we have our tweezers here. Now when it comes to tweezers, they're cheap and nasty when you can quite easily sort of bend them. You see how you can do that? You can bend them rather easily. I'll show you a good quality one just in my tray underneath here. So here is a good quality one. You go online and, you know, if you pay something like maybe £4, £5, £6 just for a set of tweezers, they're normally really good. As you can see, they're quite thick, they're not bending, whereas these ones, you know, you could probably for about £4, £5, £6 pick up like a set of 6. Right, and as you can see, you know, we could easily sort of bend them out of place. They're still okay, you can still use them, just yeah, get a good quality set because they do come in useful. What we also have in here is a blade. As you can see, it is a bit of just a standard sort of cheap blade. Again, you know, I'd rather just go out and get a Winsor & Newton and put some nice number 11 blades on there. Very nice. I've had this ever since I was modelling, and it's, you know, you just keep replacing the blades, and it's a really good blade to have. These are quite cheap. You do get some spare blades and a drill bit in there. Actually no, you don't get any spare blades for this. But you also get some nice pairs of pliers, different types of pliers. They're going to come in good use. You also get a nice little hand drill as well, and it's one of those, to be honest with you, I've never used one of these. I use just a normal hand drill. So I'll just quickly get it out of my toolbox. Here we go. Just here, nice little hand drill, and you basically just, you know, it sort of spins on your hand just at the back there, and I find you've got more control, because when it comes to modelling, it's more sort of like precise drilling and stuff, whereas this, although it's you know, it's gonna probably could be useful, I haven't used it so I can't really say, but this whole sort of pushing down and spinning and stuff, I don't know, I don't know if it's going to be as accurate as just having it, you know, so, you know, we'll probably give that a go, but it does seem a bit kind of flimsy, a bit cheap. However, the tools in this little kit that are going to be useful is we do have this sort of, I forgot what it was called now, it was like a pin punch thing. It's for your decking, and you basically put like little tiny nails in there, and it just punches it in. Which is rather cool, so you don't have to use a hammer or anything. It's definitely a tool you want to get for building the HMS Victory. And then you've got this tool here as well. You've got a spare blade for it, and what this basically does, you put your planks inside here, and it gives it a little bit of a cut, which then bends the plank, so you can bend it and curve it round different curvatures and stuff. When it comes to doing this little boat that we're doing, these planks are so thin you can't use one of these, so we'll talk about that later, because I'm probably going to have to buy some new tools for that. You also get some nice little chisels here. We are going to be using, I do believe, this one in a bit. These are okay chisels. You know, I just kind of don't matter, you know, they're cheap, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I know you can spend a bit of money and get the diamond ones, but I've never had any problems with the cheap ones, to be honest with you. So there it is. I mean, it comes in a nice case as well. I will probably throw away some of this stuff, put the other stuff in my my tool desk area, and maybe keep the case for keeping, oh, then again, we could probably keep in our little parts in here, which is not a bad actually idea, so that's what I'll do. So we come back now to our little jig, which should hopefully be dry now, because this glue does dry fairly quickly. It does seem pretty good. Now what you want to do is cutting some pieces off. Now to cut them off, right, let's keep this nice and simple. Getting out our blade, number 11 blade, we're just going to cut out this piece too, and we just want to cut the tabs just there, right? And we're just going to cut down. It's going to go down so far, and it does seem to sort of stop. You need to then turn it over, cut down on the other side, and you'll just hear that little clip sort of thing. And then we've cut out our piece rather nicely. Coming back with the skinny sticks, nice coarse skinny stick, and give that a little bit of a sanding just to take care of whatever tab has been left over from cutting it, so we've got no little bits of wood kind of sticking out, and that's looking good. Now I've cut out a few here, and what you'll find actually, which I've actually noticed actually with the all the actual rib section, is as this build's been going on, I've noticed that the quality seems to have changed as we've gone through. For instance, we have, these are like first couple of issues. These ribs are wobbling about, as you can see. They're very sort of loosely fit. I did notice we had little tabs here and there, and we had to sand them away, whereas with the issues going on, what I've found is it's a much more sort of snug fit. As you can see, they're not as wobbly, they're fitting a bit more snug, and it's been sort of lasered all the way around, so that we've had to sand no tabs down. There's just been no tabs whatsoever. They've literally lasered it all round this time, so it looks like it's you know, getting better. And we have these pieces here. Now these pieces do seem to fit a little bit too snug, so what you want to do, and it does also say in the instructions, you know, just sort of test and see how well they fit into the jig. If they don't fit easily, you know, let's get out our little file here that we got, and it just fits in there nice and perfectly. And what we want to do is just give it a little bit of a sand, right? We don't need to go mental, it's just a little bit of a helping hand in getting it in there, right? So we can test fit that again, and that's going in there a lot better now. Just that little bit of a sand, and that piece 5 now is going in rather nice. And we want to do that with all of these. Let's just give number 1 a seam to, and number 2. A little tricky getting into number 2, because the file's maybe a little bit too big, but we're just getting in there. Alright, so we'll test fit number 1, and that's going in a bit better, and we test fit number 2, and that goes in a lot better. We also want to get piece 1 as well, and also give these a little bit of a seam to as well, because I have test fitted and it does need a little bit just to get our pieces free in. So getting out the glue, and we've cutted out 2 of our pieces piece frees, right? And what we want to do is just get a little bit of glue just in to these little notches just here, just like so, and then we want to slot in our pieces free. And what you want as well is you've got one facing towards where you put in the piece free in, so we just slot that in. The instructions also do say not to glue the top pointy bit in either. It just says glue it where that little notch is, where you can see I've glued it, just glue it there, is what the instructions say. We'll probably find out later why. Right, make sure they're pushed down. Right, and then you want to tidy up the glue by just getting out a cotton wool bud. I've got it all over my fingers, so I'll wipe that off. and there we go. You can, if you like, get out an engineering square and just see, are we all nice and square, which we are, looking on that one, and we're looking quite good on that one. A bit of glue just squeezing out there. Let's get rid of that. This one's actually pushed out a bit, so we tidy that up again. Right, and we'll just check that it's square again. Yeah, we're looking good. So that piece is all nice and good. So we'll leave that to dry for a bit. And then what we have up next is piece 2, but I think really we need to let piece 1 and 3 dry before we sort of move on to the next bit. So with our piece 1 now all nice and dry, what we want to do is we definitely need to make sure that it fits. Before we put any glue down, we must test fit it, and if it just needs a little bit more, just give it a bit more of a filing down with your file. Right, so we're going to take our glue now. I'm just going to put a nice little bit just on piece 2, and what you want to do is have all the numbers facing you so that you can read them, and that way you can orientate up with the instructions a lot nicer. So we're just putting in piece 2. Right, so the curved bit is facing into our jig there, and then we need to get out a quick cotton wool bud, just like so. Give that a quick clean up, wipe the bottom because it's probably going to ooze out, and then we want to get piece number 1 and slot it in to our little notch here for number 1 as well. So before we do that, we just want to get a little bit of glue where the little notch is. Right, and then we can place that just in there, just like so. Right, and what you also want to do is put a little bit of glue. Let's bring you in a little bit closer. Put a nice little bit of glue just here, right at the tip, so it joins pieces 1 and 2 together. Right, just like that. And then we just want to tidy it up with the usual cotton wool bud, just like that, and make sure that goes into the middle. So I might actually try and get a little peg just on there, just to make sure it's going to hold nicely dead center. Right, and then I can clean up piece 1 just there. We got a little bit of glue we can't get to there, but I have looked at the instructions down the line a bit. We haven't really got to worry about the jig or even the bottom of these pieces either too much, so I think we should be good there. And actually that glue does dry rather quick, so there we go. That is the first bit. So what we want to do now is we want to cut out all the rest of the pieces. Now, going all the way along from like 4 to like 14, it's very simple. We're just cutting out lots of pieces that are basically exactly the same but slightly a different size, and all we want to do is get the usual bit of glue right where our little notch is, and we want to place piece number 4, as you can see, into the little slot there that says number 4, and it's as easy as going along and, you know, doing the same with 5, 6, 7 and so on and so on. And we can just clean up with the cotton wool bud any sort of glue as we go along. You can just quickly check with your engineering square just to make sure it is nice and square. if it's not like this one, right, we may have to sort of be a bit patient. And sort of what we could potentially do is get a bit of Tamiya masking tape, right, and sort of tape the piece 4 or whatever piece isn't sort of being a nice square piece to our actual engineering square just there. So that then should hopefully, you know, dry nice and square, and then we can move on to piece 5, piece 6. I know it takes a bit of time, but if you want to get it all nicely lined up and nicely square, that is what you want to be doing. So there's all our nice sort of ribs going in there onto our jig. The last bit is piece 15. Right, we want to get some glue onto this. Right, and we want piece 15 to go into where it says piece 15. Right, but what we want is the bit that slopes to be pointing outwards to the rear, and then we get piece 16 like so. Put some glue on there, and then we want to put piece 16 on as well, with the number 16 sticking outwards, and we want to get a little bit of glue just into here between 15 and 16, right, and we want to just then lean piece 16 nicely against piece 15, just like that. And then the usual, let's clean it all up. And what we need to do now is leave this to dry, right? We really cannot go on to the next stage until this is dried. So we want to leave this potentially overnight, right? Because what we're going to be doing next is we need to be doing some sanding, and if this is still wet while we're sanding, it's just not going to hold up to doing any kind of sanding. So you must let this now dry. Right, while this is going to be drying, I just want to kind of throw in a quick note there just to end off this episode, and that is we do have some leftover pieces here, which is 18, 19, 22, 22 and 21. Right, we could probably just sort of quickly sort of cut this out, cut these bits of that we don't need off just very quickly with some cutters. Right, we can throw that in the bin now, and just put this somewhere nice and safe where it's not going to get damaged or you're not going to lose it. Oh yeah, you could probably use that nice little case that you get with all those nice free tools, right, because we're going to be needing that for the next stage. Now that is it for this episode. There is more in the instructions to do with planking this up and sanding it up and everything, but I want to make sure that there is enough footage for episode 3, so we'll kind of continue this in episode 3, and maybe even looking at spraying it, painting it, and we'll just see how we get along with the what different issues we get. So until next month, which will be episode 3, my name's Bobby Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.